Hey, button pushers, my name is Nick, and welcome back to the life and suffering of Sir Brante. We are still in peacetime. This has been a big, chunky boy of a chapter, which is kind of to be expected from the bar and how much lengthy that is compared to the rest of them. That was horrible English, but whatever, we'll move on. Things aren't going well. They've been steadily going down since youth, to be honest, and in the last chapter I managed to basically prevent our family from ever becoming ennobled by the sword, which was good, and also I've bankrupted the family, so now are we always forever going to be commoners, but also we're swimming in debt, which is good. But the bright side, Tommas, my childhood friend, he'd made some whoopsies, and he basically had death squads after him, so we helped him escape. And our sister Gloria is now officially part of the Brante family after being kind of tarnished with being a bastard because of her origins for all of her life. So there's been some nuggets of goodness, but also I had my first death in the last episode, so that's out the way now. 3 more of them, and it's true death for me. A banner year. You enter the print shop in the morning and sit down at your desk to go over your books. The ledger is a mess. Your employees have made their entries sloppily and often in haste. It takes you a long time to make sense of it all. You spend the entire day comparing documents and analysing numbers. In the evening, once everything is added up, you finally determine that the print shop's revenue has increased over the last year. Yes! I actually have it's a fake business that's used for nefarious and horrible purposes, but at least it's bringing in money, so, I'll take it. I'll pay off some of my goddamn debts. It's usually been barely enough to keep the business running, but lately, book printing and other orders have been extremely lucrative. You walk home that night with several heavy coin purses hanging from your belt. Oh, nice. Okay, so we've clawed our way out of ruin. This is good. I mean, I have. I don't know what the rest of the Brante family are doing. They need to pull their weight, if I'm being completely honest. The Archduke Relents. After many years, the simmering, unceasing hostilities between Overseer Gaius Tempest and Archduke Melanidas have finally come to an end. The Archduke has abandoned all attempts to collect additional taxes from the people. Okay, this is not going to help my whole having to incite rebellion thing, but it's good for the people. By my grace, I hereby release the common people of Magra from the Archduke's tax. All hail the dynasty of Melanidas, which has protected you since time immemorial. The farmers and merchants can finally heave a sigh of relief. Unexpectedly, the Archduke soon withdrew from all provincial affairs, sequestering himself in his ancestral castle of Serpenwerda. The gentry who remained loyal to the Archduke are baffled. He has accepted defeat at the hands of the Overseer? Or is this just an elaborate ruse? Either way, with the Archduke out of the picture, the senior gentry of Magra have lost some of their influence over the Overseer and his retinue of budding dynasties and nobles of the mantle. The feud between the two Archnean rulers has ended, but the noble estate has been split nonetheless. The common people see this as yet another reason to demand change. Okay. Maybe not so much with the inciting rebellion problems. Maybe I can use this. The wealth of Magra has gone up, and struggle for power has gone up. Ooh, okay, cool. So I need to push the struggle for power if I can. A dangerous haul. Now that Archduke Melanidas has yielded in his struggle for power, the city of Anazot is enjoying a moment of respite, but your gut tells you to stay on your guard. The powerful Archnean noble has relinquished some of his power, and someone will surely make an attempt to seize it. You tell your people to watch the city closely and report anything, even slightly suspicious to you right away. At first, they mistake your unease for unfounded paranoia, but your gut feeling soon proves to be true. Late one night, a leader barges into the print shop, clearly excited. Fuad's found something big. You've got to see this. She takes you to the north gate. Fuad is waiting for you in a dark back street next to a sizable wooden crate. The old man lifts the heavy lid with a groan. Here, my friends, take a look. You take a step closer and freeze involuntarily. A leader manages a nervous chuckle. Fuad wipes beads of sweat from his brow. Inside the crate, there are at least 24 gunpowder muskets, along with bullet pouches full of lead balls. With a couple of kegs of gunpowder, this would be enough to arm a full squad. Okay. This is interesting. How have you got your hands on those, you shady little bitch? You can't help but recall the convicts' revolt in Illyria 3 years ago. Now, anyone even suspected of owning a firearm similar to the guns they used is sent to the gallows at once. Where did Fuad find all this? The old man lifts a finger, eager to enlighten you. So, I was doing my watch, just like you asked, in a nice little place by the gates, and then I see a loaded wagon with 3 sturdy fellows by it. They looked every bit like your ordinary workmen, except there was something funny about them. They keep whispering and fidgeting, all odd-like, so I think maybe they're the last straw, right? I wanted to shush them, tell them to calm down, but the twins told me I better wait. And then, bam, they get stopped by a patrol. The gendarmes keep asking them questions. Before you know it, they ask to see what's in the crates. Well, that was it. The youngsters were all over the gendarmes before I could blink. They did a real number on them, I'll tell you what. The gendarmes barely managed to cry for help before they all got knocked out. Then the guys started bickering. They ended up dumping the crate down an alley and scattering. The gendarmes came to and stumbled after them. Everybody just forgot about the crate. I thought I ought to see what all the fuss was about, and when I saw what was in there, I dragged the crate off to the side and called for you right away. You give the packing crate a closer look, and notice a trademark branded on the side. This is a crate from one of Mayor Egmont's mines. They usually contain silver. So Egmont is smuggling firearms into the city now, and men who know about it are being hunted by the prefecture. They will not be able to hide this for long, and once they're finally caught, it won't be long before Philippe hears about these weapons. You stare at the guns, lost in thought. Where did Egmont procure these weapons? Are there more of them stashed throughout the city? You might not have all the answers, but you still have something. Okay, report to Philippe. You give him the crate of guns and track down the men who smuggled it into the city. Inform El Verman about this. If Philippe gets his hands on Egmont, El Verman's plan will fall apart. This is true, and I'm leaning towards El Verman at the moment because he said he can help relieve me from Philippe's grasp. Although Philippe does hate me at the moment and did nearly have me beaten to death, so throwing him a bone would potentially, be a good thing. But, sort it. El Verman. You instruct the leader and Fuad to start looking for the men who tried to smuggle the guns into the city. They are to tell no one else about their discovery. You'll dispose of the crate on your own. You don't think it might come in handy? It's too dangerous to own guns nowadays, you explain. They're more trouble than they're worth. Fuad and a leader nod knowingly and hurry away. Once you're sure they're gone, carefully conceal the crates and walk to the magistrate's mansion. The servants let you in through the back door. Sir El Verman is in his sitting room, seated at a small table with a glass of wine. He looks like he's not slept in days. Oh, it's a bit late for a visit, Brante. What do you want? You quickly inform him about the crate of guns with Mayor Egmont's brand on it, and the smugglers on the run from the prefecture and the last straw. There's no time to waste, you explain, and if the magistrate wants to prevail in this feud with Egmont, he has to act now. Philippe will learn about the smuggled arms in the morning, and he'll waste no time using it to his advantage. El Verman downs the glass. So, what do you want me to do? First, he should tell the gendarme patrol to give up their pursuit. Second, you need more men to catch the runaway smugglers. Third, you need the crate hidden from prying eyes. The gendarme patrol won't be a problem. Captain Linard owes me one. My men will be here in half an hour. Show them to the crate, and they'll bring it to me. Once El Verman's men arrive, you begin the hunt. The last straw knows how to work quickly and efficiently. A leader has already tracked the smugglers down. You capture them easily. Before sunrise, all three find themselves trapped in an abandoned mansion. The same mansion where you had your first friendly chat with El Verman. As the sun rises, the magistrate emerges from the basement of the mansion. His face is pale from another sleepless night, but he smiles nevertheless, satisfied with the results. These low-born grunts were just following orders, but they still had some important information for me. They've been shipping Illyrian firearms here for several months now. I presume Egmont means to start an armed uprising. Now there are guns stashed all over Anazot. My men are already looking for them, but we have next to no chances of finding them. You say that you'd be happy to help, but the risk of Philippe getting word on this is too great. Oh, there's no need, Brante. One crate and a handful of witnesses is more than enough for me to dispose of Egmont any time I want. His life is forfeit now. No need to worry. and I doubt his men will amount to much on their own without his guidance. Oh, it's so tempting, so incredibly tempting. I could just send him to the gallows right now, but I must stay my hand. If I'm too hasty, that blasted Philippe will realise he's in danger and hide his tracks. I have to deal with them both at the same time. I'm counting on you, Brante. I need direct proof that Advisor El Ferro is plotting a revolt. Give it to me, and we can end this. After I give the Overseer the evidence, I will be free to rule Anazot on my own once more, and you will have your freedom. You assure the magistrate that you will return to him with some good news soon. Dawn. The city slowly awakens. As you walk down the street, you think about last night's events once more. Something's gnawing at you. Mayor Egmont is a bold man, but smuggling guns into the city? That's too much, even for him. Someone must have put the old man up to it, and that someone is almost certainly dangerous. You need to stay on your guard. Am I being screwed by Vermin here? Is he actually just orchestrating this whole thing? Am I just being a sucker? Probably. Ooh, Mayor Egmont is in danger. Nice, spy network's gone up. Deathbed. Oh, it's that mother! No! Deafening silence fills your home. You're standing by Mother's bedside, so are Father, Gloria, and Nathan. For an entire day, Mother has been feverish, barely conscious. Gloria never leaves her side, not even for a minute. Nathan has even stopped drinking so he can offer your sister his all help. Mother's health deteriorated greatly over the past year, and the fighting in the family home has dealt a great blow to her. She's been bedridden for a month. You've been to every doctor and folk healer, but no one can help her. They all tell you the same thing. Lady Lydia's life is in the hands of the twins now. If she passes away, she will not come back. Oh, Mummy. And so you wait by Mother's bed in sorrow, hoping that she'll regain consciousness. There's a long silence that no one has the courage to break. Then, at last, you hear Nathan's meek voice. Mother, it's me, Nathan. Can you hear me? Mother suddenly rises onto her elbows. She looks around, her eyes unseeing, beads of sweat forming on her pale forehead. My son, where are you? Nathan takes Mother by her thin, emaciated hand. She leans closer to look at him, struggling to recognise his face. Stefan, were you playing with your younger brothers in the garden? Well, you must be all dirty. Come here. You may not be my son, but I care for you as though you were my own. Oh, what a nice, happy family we have. A blessing from the twins. Nathan's unsure what to do or say. Father strokes his wife's hair. His eyes are two orbs of searing, indescribable pain. You're a little confused, Lydia. This is Nathan, and the children are all grown up now, remember? Mother's eyes were bright and alive just now, but the next moment, they grow dim again. Her head falls weakly back onto the pillow. You're right, my husband. The children grew up, but I was never able to teach them how to live in peace with one another. I let you down, Robert. You made a mistake when you took me into your home. You saved my daughter and me from a life of poverty, and how do I repay you? Gloria cannot take it anymore. What are you saying, Mother? Don't you dare blame yourself. You did your best. You did all you could. Father looks away, unable to hold back the deluge of tears. Mother's voice, so faint now, calls out to you. And Niklaus? Where is he? With great care, you move closer to Mother. You answer her quietly. You're here, right by her side. Niklaus, I'm so happy to know you're here. I always knew greatness awaited you, ever since you were a little boy. What a shame I won't be there to see it. I couldn't save the Brante family. I will face my punishment at my final judgment. But don't worry, my dears. I'm ready to stand before the twins. Lydia Bronte's voice trails off. No longer a voice, just a final whisper of life. Will you accept your mother's death, or will you find a way to fight for her life? Well, don't give me that option and then take it away, you absolute sociopath. I'm going to have to accept it. Fine, I'm just going to have to accept the loss. Son of a bitch. Your heart aches and grows numb as you realise the inevitable. There's nothing you can do to help your dying mother. There's nothing that would give her strength. Your family has grown weak from all the spite and strife that's filled your home. Even now, at Mother's deathbed, you can feel the enmity, disappointment and anger driving your family apart. Children, accept this, humbly. Her voice trails off, her eyes grow dull, her cold hands release yours, fall onto the bed and grow still. The last emotion on Mother's face is a sadness born of exhaustion. A scream of despair rips itself out of Gloria's throat. We did this to her. We fought so much that we killed her. Me, Stefan, Niklaus. Nathan yelps with grief. He runs away, howling. Stefan remains still, a living statue chained to the head of the bed. Father slowly sits and takes his late wife's hand in his. His tears flow no more. His eyes stare far into the distance, empty and bleak. Lydia. You mourn her together, but alone. You leave the house to roam the garden, empty and numb. Mother has left this world for the peak of the pillar to face the twins' judgment. She spent all her life preparing for this journey. But now, her mortal life has ended. She's no longer here. Never again will she gather her family at the table. Never again will she offer a word of solace in trying times. Never again will she greet you with her quiet, humble smile. You bury your face in your hands. Lydia Brante, your mother, has left this world. Oh, man. Jesus. That was brutal. Your mother lost her fight to severe illness. She will never return from the hereafter. Christ. A broken branch. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Me and Stefan have bad blood because of the whole Gloria situation. But, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again, eat shit and die, Stefan. The sitting room is brightly illuminated by dozens of candles. Today, the tapestry bearing the Bronte family crest, an oak branch wrapped in chains, hangs above the fireplace. The petitions have been granted, and the paperwork is ready. Today, Gloria will join the Bronte family and become your father's lawful daughter. The entire family has gathered together, except for Stefan. Ever since you and Gloria got your way, your older brother has spent less and less time at home, preferring to take long trips or visit his noble friends. Gloria is standing by the fireplace, clothed in a modest black dress, quite unlike her usual trousers and men's jackets. Even her hair is braided today. For the sake of this momentous occasion, she's behaving as reservedly as she can, though she often glances at you with gratitude. Father steps towards solemnly and makes a speech as the family watches in profound silence. Come closer, Gloria, and become a branch of the Bronte tree. Gloria kneels humbly before the man she called Sir Robert all her life. He holds his hand in front of her face, as the ceremony demands. From this day forth, you should be a full member of this family, your fate now bound with ours. Wear your name with honour, and may the Bronte family prosper with you. Gloria leaves a filial kiss on the fingers of his outstretched hand. Now rise, Gloria Bronte. Slowly, gracefully, confidently, Gloria rises to her feet, for the first time since childhood. She looks and seems like your older sister. With a smile, Father at last embraces his adopted daughter as a parent. Gloria warmly responds to his embrace, then hurries to you. Niklaus, we're legally brother and sister now. I owe it all to you. I swear I'll never forget what you've done for me. I promise I'll be more careful from now on. I'll only do what's best for the family whose name I bear. You answer her without hesitation. Gloria has always been your family. All you did was make it official. Your sister squeezes your hand in excitement. This is her day, the day she's been waiting for all her life. Loud, thudding steps echo in the foyer. The doors swing open. Stefan stands on the doorstep. Your elder brother, now haggard-looking and covered in dust from the road, casts a tired gaze over the faces of the family gathered round the fireplace. So, it seems I've arrived at the very moment of triumph. Would you look at that? Already celebrating the day the Bronte family lost its honour, are you? Gloria stands between you and him, brave and confident, hands on her hip, She has no reason to be afraid of Stefan's fury now. We're celebrating the fact that no member of this family can now toss another member out onto the street. Stefan allows himself a bitter chuckle. Gloria, how typical of you. You've cut off your nose to spite your face, and my brother Niklaus is just the same. You've all robbed our bloodline of our noble future. You've ruined everything Sir Gregor Brante paid for in sweat and blood. If it weren't for him, we'd have nothing. But he was a giant and literal mountain of feces, so fuck him. Stefan's face grows crimson as he says these words. It takes him a moment, albeit a brief one, to compose himself and continue. But what's done is done. Our honour is already lost. From now on, I will have no further connection to your family. I'm leaving for the capital. Nothing will ever make me visit this home again. I suppose it's time for my farewells then. Stefan, wait, don't be ridiculous. You're still my eldest son and heir. And what, pray tell, am I to inherit, father? You robbed us all of our hereditary title right when it was within your grasp. But I don't blame you. You're just a victim of my brother's schemes. What do you disagree, Niklaus? I was just trying not to be a shit. Like you had that covered for all of us. I was trying to do what was right for the family. Did I do a good job? Not really, but I tried. Stefan delivers the furious tirade from the doorway, one step away from leaving. What will you tell Stefan before he departs forever? Bye, bitch! Even if I had the choice, I would have done that. I hate him. I have hated him from the beginning. Coldly, you snap back at Stefan that if a title was all your brother ever wanted from this family, then he doesn't deserve to bear the family name. All Stefan has brought to the Brante family is strife, animosity, and scorn. For the sake of his ambition, he was ready and willing to sacrifice anything, anyone, all under the pretense of protecting his family. Good riddance. There's no place for him here. Yeah, 100%. He doesn't give a shit about the family. He gives a shit about honour and nobility. And he would have done anything to get it, at the cost of the family, which is bollocks. Oh, I hate him so much. Stefan meets your lengthy speech with a surprising calm. When you're done, a bitter grin appears on his face once again. You'll never understand what it means to be a nobleman, Niklaus. But you're right about one thing. This is no longer my concern. It's high time I did something for myself. I'm still the son of Amalia Elborn. Should I ask my uncle Sir Elborn to grant me his family name, he'll not refuse me. I shall forge a new fate for myself, one without any of you in it. Stefan studies each of you, as though trying his best to remember this moment forever. His face reflects a fleeting moment of regret, but it's quickly replaced by decisiveness. I cannot reject the blood tide. It flows in my veins now, but I can reject all of you. Sir Robert Brante, you are no longer my father or patriarch. Niklaus, Nathan, you are my brothers no more, and I will make sure everyone knows it. Stefan removes a ring bearing the family seal from his finger and hurls it into the roaring fireplace. Then he glances at each of you one last time before turning away and walking briskly outside. A moment later, you hear hooves clattering against cobblestones, growing quieter as they recede in the distance. And then, a long silence marred only by the crackling of the fireplace. Father collapses into a chair, overcome with grief. My eldest son has rejected our family. God, what did I do to anger you so? Gloria steps carefully towards her foster father. Her hand comes to rest on his shoulder. He puts it to his face as the tears begin to flow. I hoped Stefan would come to accept our decision, but a hereditary title means more to him than our family's happiness. We won't make the same mistake he did. We will weather the scorn of the noble families with dignity. We will remain united in this home, no matter what. Yeah. Yes, father. That we will. Your family does their best to console each other, but the celebration is ruined. Eventually you go to your room to sleep, but a flood of memories keep slumber at bay. You remember Stefan leading you by your hand through the yard. You remember sitting at the big table on the porch, poking each other in the arm. You remember marching through the streets of Anazot at night looking for Gloria. And now, Stefan has left his family home and Anazot, never to return. This is the last you will ever hear of the man who used to be your elder brother. Okay, severed all ties. Oh God. Oh God. Oh, okay, we were already at 0, so it's fine. We literally couldn't have gone down any further. Unity, so it's on 2, so we're still in quarrels and feuds. Okay, need to get that up. Robert adopts Gloria, and she becomes a full-fledged Brante. As much as a lot of things have gone horribly wrong, and a lot of things have gone horribly wrong, if there's some good that comes out of this, even if I get the worst ending possible in this game, if I have some little nuggets of goodness that I've managed to do along the way, it's okay. Stefan's left the House of Brante and went to seek his fortune in the capital. Hopefully he gets syphilis and his face rots away. Tommas's wedding, eh? Ah. This is the day you remember well. It began with a loud, impatient knock on the door. You're surprised to see Tommas paying a visit to your home. There's a joy on your face as your old friend shakes your hand. Is it safe for you to be here? Brante, it's been a while since I saw you last. Just got back to the city. I visited my folks, then ran straight here. Otton finally stopped hounding me. I sure hope that whole mess is over for good. You invite your friend in, but he gestures for you to wait, a sly smile on his face. I'm in a hurry right now, buddy. So much to do, so little time. I'll explain. I just got back from Sulmina. There was this girl in the village, a shopkeeper named Mia. She gave me shelter, and I ended up falling head over heels in love with her. You congratulate your friend and pat him on the shoulder with joy. He laughs happily. My poor ma and pa. All their life they'd hope I'd marry a noble woman. I used to hope for that too when I was young, but now I know some things matter more than noble titles. Mia's about to be my wife. You offer Tommas words of congratulations, but he suddenly grows serious. Otton's left me alone, but Mia and I will still be better off far away from Anazot. I wasn't happy serving in the Legion anyway. I thought the nobleman's lot would set me free from suffering and do the same for my descendants, but it just ain't that simple. I was less free there than ever. I'll be better off as a commoner again, earning my living by the sweat of my brow. Farmstead might not be an estate, but the high and mighty won't ever set their sights on me again. I'll live my life in peace, just like I want. I just got one last request for you though, Niklaus. You've done so much for me, but I'd be honoured if you'd be a witness to my wedding vows before the twins. Perform the ceremony yourself. Amazing. Yeah. Why wouldn't I? Your hand comes to rest on Tommas's shoulder. It would be an honour and a privilege for you to be a witness at your friend's wedding. Tommas glows with joy. Wonderful. You've got no idea how much that means to me, Niklaus. I've got to go get ready. Several days later, you follow your childhood friend to a smallish temple nestled on the edge of the brass district. He's wearing a plain, white shirt. Needless luxuries are forbidden at the austere wedding ritual. You're both welcomed by the bride, a blonde-haired young woman, innocence and hospitality written across her trusting face. The bride's parents stand further away, two aging villagers eyeing the streets of the big city with suspicion. Mia, meet Niklaus Brante, my best friend ever since we were lads. He'll bear witness to our oaths before the twins. The bride greets you with a humble bow. The three of you step inside the temple. You close the doors behind you. Tradition demands that no one else be allowed to attend the sacred wedding ritual. An amiable, aged priest by the name of Ignatius Aventini meets you inside. Tommas and Mia kneel before the altar. O twins, elder and younger, behold these two as they kneel before you. They beseech you to join them in eternal wedlock. The candle flames dance and quiver. You hear a strange murmur in the temple. The darkness beneath the vault of the temple ceiling swirls into two colossal shades. The bride and groom raise their eyes to them, awestruck. Tommas, dost thou swear thy loyalty to this divine union? I do. The bride assents to the same query. Your turn is next. You stand over the kneeling bride and groom and speak their names as the twins watch over you. Tommas Guerra and Mia of Sulmina. One of the colossal shades leans over them, looming like a towering sword, while the other bursts into a beacon of blinding light that illuminates the temple from within. Tommas and Mia look into each other's eyes in amazement. From this moment forth, they're bound to one another by divine law, and divine love fills their hearts. In your sight of the twins, Tommas Guerra and Mia of Sulmina are now man and wife, as Nicholas Brante bears witness. The stern, solemn ceremony has ended. It's time to celebrate. A humble but happy feast is to be held in the bride's village. As day gives way to night, you and Tommas leave the revel to enjoy the moments of quiet response on the front porch. Your old friend looks off into the distance, hopeful. Yeah, I remember how we fought in that yard over our little brothers. How much has happened since then? Both of you laugh as you recall the beginning of your friendship. I'll treasure those memories forever. I will. And you can be sure that my firstborn son's name will be Niklaus.
Oh, Tommas!
Tommas chuckles, pondering. You and I, we grew up on the same street, but look how different we turned out. You ever say in other people's fates, Brante? Your name will surely be remembered. But me? I'm still a humble nobody. You know what? I'm okay with that. I used to be so sure a man could never start over with a clean slate, but I guess I was wrong. I'll never forget you, Niklaus Brante, and I'll never forget everything you've done for me. A tear runs down your friend's cheek. For the last time, Tommas embraces you. Tomorrow he will leave Anazot forever. Will you ever meet again? Nobody knows. Oh, Tommas. I'm very happy for Tommas. You see Tommas off on his new life, far from all the danger and chaos. I'm very happy with it. There's definitely some goodness that's come out of all this shit. Repentance. The last few months have been marked by a welcome absence of quarrelling at the Brante estate. Your only concern these days is the price you have had to pay for this peace. Today, you come home, late, wrung dry after a day of work and worry. Everyone's sound asleep. You're making your way to the bedroom when you hear a suspicious noise coming from Father's study. It's too late for Father to be working. You go to the door of the study, try to tread softly, and turn the knob. The room is brightly lit by the moon. You recognise your brother's clumsy silhouette above Father's desk in the moonlight. Nathan hears you come in and leaps to the side in fear. You see something glistening in his hands. Father's dagger. Oh, Niklaus, it's you. Shush. I just took the dagger for a moment. Don't worry, I know holding a weapon's against my lot. I don't mean anyone no harm. It's for me, actually. I have to go to the twins. Your younger brother clumsily turns the dagger around, holding it against his own body. You try to remain still. Nathan wants to take one of his own lives. But why? I'm not even sure how to say it, brother. I just can't find a place in this world. I'm always an outsider, always a waste of space. Isn't there some place for me in the twins' design? I can't stop thinking about it. I've been trying to understand them for so long. How am I supposed to live in their world? What's my place in their great plan? But I've only made things worse. I meddled with the Marknian sect, defied and rejected my lot, indulged in vice, but I found nothing there. The old faith, the new faith, Father Mark's heresy, they gave me all sorts of answers, but none of them worked. There's nothing else left for me now. I've got to see the twins myself and ask them. I know I'm an affront to their plan just because I'm alive, but I'll repent. I'll pray for their forgiveness. But the twins never forgive, you tell Nathan softly. They never have, and they never will. You will be judged in the hereafter for every false step you take. Your younger brother sighs heavily. I know. Mother taught us that all our lives. But I still have to try it. There's no other way. One of my lives isn't too big a price if it works. I can't find any use for them anyway. See you soon, brother. Hopefully I'll be different when I come back. A cloud passes over the moon. Father's study grows dark, illuminated only by the shining light of the distant pillar. Nathan's body contorts awkwardly. He raises the dagger, aiming it at his own heart. Oh, okay. I was going to say, why is call Mother an option, but if Mother recovers? Let's see. She didn't. She dead. Okay. No. Okay, I guess I'm just letting Nathan die then. Take a step back. The life that Nathan is about to take belongs to him. He's free to do with it as he pleases. May he finally find an end to his desperate search for meaning. Nathan whispers a word of gratitude, barely audible. Then, a sharp exhale, and he gets ready to strike. His hands guide the dagger awkwardly through the air and into his chest. The sharp tip reluctantly sinks into his flesh. A weak yelp escapes Nathan's throat. He staggers and falls, blood oozing out of the wound. Moments pass, and Nathan's body dissipates as his mortal frame dissolves. He's departed to commune with the twins. What awaits him in the hereafter? You pick up Father's dagger, carefully wipe it clean, and put it in the drawer of his desk where it belongs. I was kind of worried for a minute then that was going to be his time, he wasn't going to disappear. That would be an awkward conversation to have. Thankfully, 'twas not the case. When the skies begin to grow bright before the dawn, you go to the family crypt and welcome your brother back. Nathan's already there, lying atop the granite slab. Even made anew, his naked body is still just as thin, awkward, and feeble. He suddenly stands when he hears your footsteps. His eyes are shining with otherworldly light. I spoke to them, brother. I dared to address them, and my soul rose up. I begged the twins for forgiveness. They heard me. They did. And the elder, he reached out to me. He wanted to respond to me, I know he did. But the younger's sword stopped us. It cut the bond between us, and I fell. But I saw compassion in the elder's eyes as I fell. And he followed me. He shall descend to the lands again. He shall witness our suffering and bring his mercy. And then the world will change at last. Your younger brother shivers, almost convulsing with cold. You wrap him in a black cloak. Together, you return home before sunrise. No one in your family ever learns of Nathan's lesser death. Nathan stops wasting time in taverns with suspicious characters. He spends every day in ardent prayer, again and again. His quiet voice speaks of the elder's coming return. Family watches the drastic change in their wayward son with great surprise. Interesting. Very interesting. We are drawing to the end of peacetime, a storm on the horizon. For over a year now, Anazot has been steadily simmering with unrest, like a soup pot over a well-stoked flame. Commoners flock to the squares in droves. The mobs grow bolder, demanding new freedoms and protection under the law. The last straw insurgents commit brazen acts, hoping to overthrow the authorities. The noble gentry insisted that every mob be dispersed by force. They're ready to fight for their ancient privilege, sword in hand. In spite of this enormous pressure, Overseer Gaius Tempest remains highly reluctant to allow any bloodshed. But the common people are already too desperate. Even the age-old fear of the nobility's might is barely enough to keep them in check. More and more people are rejecting the lots and converting to the new faith, not to mention other, stranger, more esoteric teachings and beliefs. New secret societies and clandestine gatherings appear every day. Printed pamphlets litter the streets. Yet no one is rushing to subdue the citizens or punish the city. But now. Father Lennart has transformed the Temple of the Silver Tree into a new believer stronghold. He's no longer afraid to break the ban on preaching the new faith. His sermons now openly challenge the old faith. I thought it was decided years ago that wasn't heresy, that was actually allowed. It seems the Church of the Twins is unable to recognise its great mistake. The lots must be abandoned as relics of the past. The Twins granted everyone the freedom to choose their own path in this world. Then I will not stop until this freedom is recognised throughout the Empire. The next Patriarch of Margara must be chosen by the parish, not the clergy. This is the will of the Twins, and it must be ours as well. Lennart intends to amend the old order of the Church and become Patriarch. His opponents, however, are beset by internal struggle and strife. The Inquisition is fighting a myriad of heresies, more of which appear every day. Not even the highest rank of faith free from suspicion. The new faith, meanwhile, is steadily growing in number. People no longer fear being damned to the foot of the pillar for rejecting the divine design. The streets are restless and dangerous. Minds and souls are beset by confusion. The authorities argue and bicker amongst themselves. Conspiracies plague the city. Time marches on and the change is coming. Cannot be stopped. Can you find a way to guide it in the right direction? The weight of the new age now rests upon your shoulders. Why does everything have to rest on my shoulders? So we're fully in schism territory. Yeah, I definitely want that to end up in new faith. Because the new faith is the better faith. Families matter. For over a year now, Anazos has been simmering with unrest. This first paragraph, I'm going to read it, but this first paragraph seems like exactly the same as what I just read. For over a year now, Anazot has been slowly simmering with unrest. The feud between the estates, between the old faith and the new, between the law of the Empire and noble traditions, Tensions are at an all-time high, waiting for the slightest spark to catch fire and burn. I'll admit that was different than I thought it was going to be. Even your family's affairs have been affected by the growing unrest. It's during these troubling times that the future of your family will be decided. Father shakes you awake early in the morning. He's excited, clutching a letter bearing the imperial seal of the Tempest dynasty. Wake up, son. Come to the sitting room. A letter has come from Overseer Gaius Tempest. He gingerly breaks the seal and unfolds the missive. To the Honourable Brante family, I, Gaius of the Tempest dynasty, Overseer of the province of Magra, have given due consideration to your petition to have your bloodline ennobled by the sword. You are expected at 1 week at Castle Enery, as are all petitioners for the sword, where you shall hear my decision firsthand. It's going to be a no. I know it's going to be a no, because our honour is in the toilet. After finishing the letter, Father turns to you. He looks fatigued. Well, son, it's time for us to be honest about each other, about our family. What do you have to say about this? Where do we, the Brante, stand after so many years? What hopes do we have for the future of this family? The past 7 years have been marked by many life-changing events. The rare joys, the frequent fights, the arguments, the attempts at peace, the losses. Sometimes you've managed to change their minds, and sometimes you've not. But your decisions have made you realise what matters most to you. The future of the Brante family must be decided here and now. What? What? No, I don't want to have to do that. What the fuck? Okay, I've dealt with a lot of shit in this game up until this point, and I've taken it on the chin. I've not been happy about it, but I've taken it on the chin. Why is the only option you're giving me to sever all ties with the family? You coldly point out that the family's chance for a hereditary title is long gone, and the family itself, why, it all but disintegrated years ago. You failed to quell the strife at home. You could not stuff the coals of enmity that slowly turned your family into disjointed clumps of ash. All attempts to put the family's affairs in order have led to naught. And now, it's time to admit that the Brante family is no more. There's a deep pain in Father's eyes as he meets your gaze, but he doesn't argue. Which is why, you continue, it would only be reasonable to sever what remains of your family ties. It's for your own good. You've all been strangers for a long time. You may live under the same roof, but you're no family. It's time to end these frantic attempts to fix that which is already beyond repair. Nothing good will come of it. Father is silent. A long moment passes before he speaks. As much as it saddens me to say this, you're right, son. We failed. I failed as the family patriarch, and I failed my lots. I was chasing after a lofty position and neglected all the troubles in our family. I tried to please everyone, and I let everyone down. All I can say is that your grandfather was right about everything. You put your hand on Father's shoulder. It's not his fault alone, you tell him. All of you made mistakes. You too bear a sizable share of the blame. But I am the patriarch. No matter what, I am responsible for this family. What a disgrace. What an embarrassment I am. Father hides his face in his hands. It takes him a while to stifle his silent sobs and muster enough strength to continue. But enough weakness. It's time to accept the inevitable. The family is gone. We must all seek our own fortunes. I will quit my post at the prefecture and leave Manazot. The city has grown far too unsettled as of late, but if any of you ever want to visit my home, my door will be open to you. You leave Father alone with his grief in a sitting room. There's nothing you can do to help him now. You begin to pack your things. It's time to move out of the house that stopped being your home long ago. You'll rent a lodging for now, and then you'll see what comes next. A carriage awaits you at the gate. You take one last look at your parents' house, the place that was your home and shelter for so many years. Your childhood games in the garden, your loud, happy dinners, your quiet conversations on the porch, the warm embrace of your family. It's time to leave it all behind. You offer your families no farewells as you depart. They're no longer a part of your life. From this day forward, you must fend for yourself. I'm really not okay with this. I am 100% not okay with what's just happened. Because it doesn't even make sense in the narrative of what's been going on. No, okay, Stefan fucked off because he's a prick, but Gloria was now part of we've gone through all of this to make Gloria part of the family, just to go, you know what? Don't even worry about it. I'm off. Let's just snip this. Bye, see ya. What's been the point of all of it? We've gone through all of that. I tore the family apart, basically, to try and do right by my sister, who I've now decided is no longer my sister. I don't understand why this was even an option at this point. I'm really unhappy with this. There's nothing else I could have done about it because I'm just consistently paying for the decisions I've made. But I've tried to do the right thing. I have tried to do the right thing every step of the way, as much as I could anyway, and it's just going so horribly wrong. Shut up. Sleepless nights. Even late at night, the streets of Anazot echo with chatter. The city cannot sleep. You can't sleep tonight either. Advisor Elfero sent you a surprising note a few hours ago. He's coming. Oh, good. That's what I need right now. You hear slow, steady footsteps, accompanied by the tapping of a cane. There's a knock at the door. Philippe enters the print shop. Sophia quietly follows him. You exchange a nod. The print shop is crowded despite the late hour. Father Fuad, a leader, and the other workers observe Philippe uneasily. Oliver is there too. He acknowledges the Baron with a polite nod. You suddenly realise that Philippe no longer cares at all if the last straw members see his face. You walk into your office with Philippe and Sophia and lock the door. Well then, Brante, I hope your people are ready. It's time to put our plan into action. They're ready. Just give the words. Excellent, excellent. Soon our song of victory will reach its final note. Our road has been a long one. Much longer than we thought, but now the end is in sight. I had word with the Overseer, and in the end I managed to convince him that Elborn simply cannot maintain order in Anazot. We are just one step away from being granted special authority for the secret chancellery. All we need is an excuse for action. Prepare your people, and take to the streets. And when I finally get that authority, we will eliminate each and every traitor of the Empire, Egmont, Lennart, Elborn, all of them. Those scum will probably try to flee Anazot. I'll need the people you've recruited throughout Magra, Sophia. There are more than enough of them. I'm glad to hear it. How much time do you need to prepare, Brante? You shift your gaze from Philippe to Sophia. She's been standing behind him all this time, a silent shadow with her head held high, her eyes trained on you. Philippe's cane taps the floor impatiently. He's waiting for an answer. The advisor's right. The day you've worked for all these years has finally come. Are you ready? What will you do now? Are you fucking kidding me? All of this shit I've been doing with Vermin and I can't even use him now. You'll deceive Philippe and stay out of this mess. No one will find you until the danger has passed. For fuck's sake. 2 days, you tell him. 2 days ought to be enough. Very well. You have 2 days. You get your people ready, and I'll get mine ready. I need the names of every leader in your freak show, as well as the streets they'll be marching. Then, finally, Sir Elfero leaves. As the doors close behind him, Sophia lights the pipe she's been stuffing with tobacco since his arrival. Smoke billows out of her mouth, concealing her expression. Well then, Niklas. Guess this is it. You sigh. You're tired. So very, very tired. You should probably get some sleep while you can. You'll see each other again tomorrow. It'll all be over soon. You really think so? You just shrug. Fine. I'm dead on my feet too. See you tomorrow. She walks out the door, leaving the acrid smell of tobacco behind her. You just sit there for a while, your face buried in your hands. You really are tired. All these months and years squirming under an unbearable burden have taken their toll on you. You've done all you could. You can't go along with Philippe's plan anymore. You don't want this. You can't do it. You will not do it. You walk around the print shop and gather each and every scrap of paper related to the last straw. The reports, the letters, the bills, and the many, many lists and notes. The names of agents and contacts, the addresses of hideouts, the passwords and drop points. You get all the papers together and drench them in ink. No one will ever be able to read them now. No one will ever be able to retrieve so much as a single name. Not Philippe, and not Sophia. Once you're done with the papers, you light 2 lanterns and put them on the windowsill, assigned to your people. They need to run, flee Anazot, and hide. This is all you can do for them. Even at night, the city will not sleep. You make your way down crowded, noisy streets to a small, ramshackle house at the northern edge of town. It used to be a dyer's shop, but the dyer doesn't live there anymore. He fled Magra long ago, like so many tradespeople who couldn't bear the burden of the double tax. The smell of paint is strong inside even now. It's driven away many of the refugees who fill the city. You'll wait here for days, or perhaps weeks until this is all over, or until you think of a better way out. You throw your bag against the wall and collapse onto the dirty old mattress. The straw inside is cold and damp, but the city around you will not sleep, and neither will you. Oh. That seems pretty on brand with every decision I've made so far. Awful. Masks off. It's been 2 days since you last saw Philippe. 2 days since that terrible, dreadful night. You've managed to buy yourself a moment of respite. What should you do next? Philippe will never forgive your betrayal. There can be no doubt about that. His men are surely looking for you already. They'll find this place in a matter of days. It's time to act, or run for your life. What will you do? Just stop giving me choices. Obviously, if I only got one choice, it's all I can do, isn't it? You have to flee the shelter. There's nowhere else to go. I'm going to end up with true death here, aren't I? This is how this is going to end. I'm not even going to get to experience the final chapter. Hiding your face, you make your way towards the city gates, keeping to narrow streets and deserted alleyways. Your heart pounds in your chest. You jump at every rustle, every shadow. You finally see the archway of Anazot's north gate. You breathe a quiet sigh of relief. Your footsteps grow steadier and steadier. Each step brings you closer to escaping the giant cage that is Anazot. The shining pillar guides you like a beacon on the horizon. You hear a familiar voice behind your back. Going somewhere, Sir Brante? You don't even bother to look back. You break into a run, but several figures appear out of nowhere and cut you off. Darkness covers your eyes as a burlap sack is placed over your head. A blow. The world fades out around you. How many hours or days have passed? You don't know. For a long while, darkness is all you see. Your eyes have trouble adjusting to the light. You're shaking. Your hands are numb from the tight ropes wrapped around your wrists. The pain is gone now. You've just stopped feeling it. Your tongue is so parched and swollen it barely fits in your mouth despite the extra room afforded by several missing teeth. A firm hand grabs you by the hair. Moss lifts your head up so you can see the man across from you. Baron Philippe El Ferro, advisor of the Secret Chancellery, eyes you with disgust and disappointment. I had a whole farewell speech for you, Brante. I was going to tell you about your mistakes, about my disappointment, about the abhorrent consequences of your actions. But now I look at you, and I realise that words are useless here. I do have one question though. Where is Sophia? What is she up to? You silently squint at Philippe through swollen eyelids. I guess even Sophia is done with you. Well, it's time to end this. Here's your sentence, signed by Judge Folkgraben. I don't see any point delaying this, but you can still be of use to the advisor. Philippe just grimaces in disgust. How? You couldn't even betray me properly. A man with no patrons, no friends, no support, couldn't even save your own life. I have no use for you. He nods slightly to Oliver. No hard feelings, Nicholas. Nothing personal. A noose is placed around your neck. Strong hands tighten the rope. Your body jerks in a last, desperate attempt to survive, but you know full well that this is the end. You suffocate. Convulsive spasms shake your body. Everything around you turns red. There is no more fear, no more pain. The only thing you feel is infinite loneliness. But that fades away too. The darkness deepens. The shining pillar draws near. The twins, they will be with you forever. and always. Well, okay, I'm dead. I'm true dead. I have met true death.
Neither side could overcome the other. The fire of the revolt could not be extinguished. The province, and then the whole empire, fell on troubled times.
Outcome of the revolt. For years after your death, Anazot continued to simmer like a cookpot over a slow flame. The powerlessness of the simple folk, unable to change the old order, gradually gave way to rage. Finally, this anger became stronger than their age-old submission to the higher estates and their feat of divine retribution. This rage was the spark that lit the fire of the revolt. The rebels took up arms and seized the city for themselves, led from the shadows by the last straw. When the moment of truth came, there was no soul in Anazot strong-willed enough to spearhead the raging revolt. The opposing factions soon reached a stalemate in which neither side could prevail completely. Anazot refused to surrender, but after a prolonged siege, Gaius Tempest finally broke the city's defences, and the Legion entered the rebellious city of Anazot. The insurgents fled, the mobs disappeared from the squares, and the streets, the leaders of the revolt, were hanged. But the city's capture made even more trouble for the Overseer. The unrest was beaten down, but not suppressed completely. New riots followed one by one, as the common folk, the new faith priests, and many nobles of the mantle continued to wage a desperate struggle against the old authorities. Gaius Tempest responded to the seething rebellion with more executions and threats, but dissent continued to grow. As the unrest in the city smouldered, the rest of the empire eventually caught wind of the Anazot revolt. Nearby migrant towns and villages saw their first riots soon after. Chaos began to spread across the empire. The empires responded to this enduring turmoil with ruthless action. But even after several villages and towns were drowned in blood, the riots only intensified. The dominance of the emperor and his dynasty began to wane. Power struggles broke out between the powerful nobles in the capital. Then, a shocking event took the empire to its core. Emperor Uther II was found dead in his palace, never to be reborn. His heirs, Gerion and Flavius, both disappeared without a trace. With no one to take the throne, the noble dynasties accused one another of plotting against the Tempest's rule. Feuds and internecine strife became commonplace. And so began the Age of Anarchy, a time of massacre and riots, conflict and bloodshed, chaos and unrest. There were no winners in this war of all against all, only survivors. The Empire entered a dark and terrible age. What became of you? You've made your last and most important choice. Was your death worth it? Could you have chosen a different path? Either way, there's no going back. Your fate is sealed. There's no returning from the hereafter. And so you bid farewell to your mortal life. Everything you fought for, everything you strove for, all that is behind you now. You're on your way to the Shining Pillar to await the judgments of the twins. You can no longer change the world's destiny, but the choices you made and the deeds you did have left an indelible mark. The world will remember the life and suffering of Nicolaus Brante. True death. The moment of your death has come. Your soul has left your body, never to return. You're taken to the peak of the Shining Pillar. Every moment separates you more and more from the mortal realm. The link that once bound you is gone forever. You look up and see two divine visages watching you intently. The elder twins gaze upon you, full of sorrow and compassion. The younger examines you dispassionately, seeing your every act and thought. You've ascended from the mortal realm. From here, you're but one step away from partaking in eternal bliss atop the peak of the Shining Pillar. But first, you must be judged by them, just as every other soul born in this world has been judged since time immemorial. Only their judgment can decide whether you deserve to remain atop the peak or be hurled down to the foot. Just send me to the foot, that's where I'm going, so I know that's where I'm going. You stand before the twins. Your very essence is laid bare before them, all the secrets of your inner self revealed in full. Your soul is like an open book to them, one that preserves the story of your entire life. You lie prostrate before the gods. The time has come to take responsibility for your mortal life. And the Elder Twins ask, are you thankful to the gods for the life you've lived? I despise them. That's maybe me lashing out because I'm genuinely very angry at the moment, but I despise them. They hear your answer. Compassion and remorse fill the immeasurably deep eyes of the Elder Twin. He turns to face his divine brother, who returns his gaze with an expression of stern remorse. The Elder Twins ask you once more, what was your life to you? Suffering. Just suffering. The Elder Twin bows his head warily, considering your response, but the stern visage of the younger already looms over you. Human by the name of Brante, what did you live for? Without doubt, freedom. It's what I wanted from the beginning. I failed. No matter what I tried, I failed, but I wanted it. That's all I wanted. The younger's gaze lingers on your bare, defenseless soul. The divine figure continues its stern interrogation. What did you leave behind? Nothing. Nothing. I left nothing behind. The younger twin now moves towards you with clear intent, poised to render his judgment, but the elder twin restrains his brother with a gesture. A divine voice fills you once again. Did your life make the world we made better and more perfect? It didn't become better. I don't necessarily think it was my actions that made it worse, but it certainly didn't become better. The younger twin is silent, his eyes two swords piercing your soul. The elder twin speaks to you again, but you already know the question. The very same question that caused you so much suffering shortly before your true and final death. What determines your destiny? Myself. The twin gods exchange a glance that lasts a brief moment, and all eternity. Then the hand of the elder twin reaches out to you, glowing with light and warmth. The gods offer you an unprecedented opportunity to change your destiny, to rewrite the book of your life. Would you like to take a different path in life? Well, shit, I didn't see this coming. Your life is over. You'll face whatever awaits you with no regrets. You'll return to the mortal world and live your life in a different way. No. You reject the hand of the elder. I have gone this far, sticking to what I thought was right. Some of the choices I've disagreed with, but I was given no choice because of the decisions I previously made. That is my rock to bear. That's on my shoulders. I'm not just gonna... No, we'll go back and redo that, because if I wanted the chance to go back and redo stuff, I would have played with the outcomes visible the entire time. That's not what I wanted to do playing through this. I've already resigned myself to the fact that everything's gone to shit because of it, and I'm going to spend eternity at the foot of the pillar. If that's what I deserve, that's what I deserve. But I'd go there knowing that I've tried. I've tried to do what was right by me the entire time. The immense divine silhouette withdraws in sorrow. The younger twin steps forward, leaving you to face his law alone. The twin's judgment is nearing its end. Soul of a man named Brante lies prostrate at your feet. You have witnessed his entire life, known his every act, seen his every thought and desire. No other soul could ever walk the same path. So many difficult choices, so many emotions, so much pain. Another soul awaits your judgment. You know no mercy, nor does your brother. Every mortal must walk down the path chosen for him to the very end. Those who abide by the precepts set forth by you and your brother shall return to you and become a part of you. Those who reject you shall know the eternal suffering of oblivion. Where does the man named Niklaus Brante belong? I mean, I'm not going to send myself to the foot of the pillar. Why would I do that? No. I know, deep in my heart, that aside from the choices I had to make, like splitting up the family, betraying the Lotless, I didn't have to make that one. That was okay, admittedly, one that I didn't have to make. But yeah, splitting up the family and some of the shitty decisions that came at the end, I didn't want to make. I was forced into making them, albeit through my decisions, but I was forced into making them. I have tried. I have been true and honest the entire time. And it's just not worked. But I'm gonna send myself to the peak of the pillar, because goddamn, my life's been shitty and I need a break. You gingerly grasp the fragile soul, lift it up, and turn to face your elder brother. You lift your sword. Your brother stands with arms akimbo, ready for the blow. The blade slices through his chest. Blinding light gushes from the gash. You bring the minuscule soul to your brother's chest, and it dissolves in the streams of shimmering luminescence. A tiny fragment of your shared creation has rejoined the whole. The man named Brante is no more. There is only the eternal fount in which he now abides. Holy shit. I am drained. I am physically and mentally and emotionally drained by this. It's just the last couple of episodes, just everything has gone so wrong. I honestly thought with Gloria becoming part of the family, I might have had that family trajectory to fall back on and think, okay, so there's some good out of this, but no, then the family falls apart. So literally the one good thing I've managed to do is save Tommas's life. Nothing else I've set out to do has worked. And I really tried. I really tried. Wow. Absolute brutality. And I know I crafted the rod for my own back with this by choosing to play the way that I played. Having the outcomes visible would have obviously changed everything. It would have allowed me to plan better and think more about what I was doing, but as much as I'm like genuinely quite upset and annoyed right now, I stand by that decision. It's made this an infinitely harder decision, an infinitely harder process to go through, because I was, especially the last 2-3 episodes, I've just been faced with constant decisions I didn't want to make, and having the other decisions I could have made flaunted in front of me if I'd have made other decisions it made it so much harder, because 9 times out of 10 there was always a decision I wanted to make on there, but I couldn't because I hadn't set myself up to be able to make that decision. It's hard. It's really, really hard. So I don't know. Honestly, yeah, like I said, I feel drained. Absolutely drained. So this has been the life and suffering of Sir Brante, and I'm pretty sure that was the worst, but well, no, I guess the worst ending would have been to send yourself to the foot of the pillar. But after everything, I was not going to do that to myself. I couldn't do that to myself. For my own real life sanity, I couldn't have done that to myself. But I tried. I went into this with the best intentions. I wanted to do good. I wanted to change everything. And from youth onwards, it's just all gone wrong. I think back to my first night in the city when I was given the choice of what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go that evening, like a fencing club, a den of iniquity, to the meeting of what turned out to be the Lotless. That was it. That was the start of my trajectory. So what if I'd have chosen something else? How would things have differed? How would things have been? Would they have been better? Would they have been worse? Would it have ended up being the same? Is my overarching story actually locked into destiny? Would I have always ended up as Philippe's manservant? A part of me wants to know. So, but I'm not sure what I want to do in terms of doing this, like moving forward with this. because the game's done. I'm for my playthrough, I am done. I'm not replaying anything to try and get a different ending. This playthrough is done. I went into it with my heart set on doing it by my gut, and I've done that. And it ended horribly, so I'm never trusting my gut on anything ever again. But I've done that. That's done. It's over. There's nothing changing that outcome. But I am intrigued to know what the other outcomes could possibly be. Let me know. Let me know what you would like. So, if you want to check this out for yourself, then the link to the game page is in the description, and hopefully if you do play this, you get a much better ending than I did. If you want to see more videos like this, and you want me to play through this in slightly different ways, so to try and aim for certain endings, then obviously I will turn on the visible consequences, and we can kind of jump through the story that way. If not, I may just do that in my own time. Thank you very much for watching, and I know there's been a few people that have watched the entire series up to this point, so thank you to you guys and for your comments so far, because it means a lot and it's been really interesting to hear. If you've enjoyed this video, then why don't you go ahead, the like button, the heartbreaking devastation that is the subscribe button, make sure you that bad boy. And until next time, love you, bye.